hello, buddy boy. How you doing?
That was that kind of came in hot and heavy there at the last minute. Where were you guys?
Rob was doing dishes, and he thought the clock on the coffee maker was wrong.
I'm texting you guys going, where are you? That's funny.
Oh, good times, good times. Hey, it wouldn't be a hot coming in hot if it wasn't our regular MO on the show, basically.
That's true.
Yeah, it's either one thing or another. Oh man, so we just got back from a convention this weekend, so we're a little bit burnt.
Yeah. I'm Eric Vedder, by the way, and my great friend across the road here,
Ramón Pérez.
Yeah.
And we are here for Make Shit Monday.
Yeah. That convention was pretty dope, man. It was really weird being in a whole enclosed
yeah, deep underground.
Deep underground, and everyone's masked up, and you're like, oh, okay, is this the future? So
it's like the THX 1138 or some kind of zombie apocalypse, basically.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was a lot of fun to actually be at a convention again and meet people, interact with people, share with them our new books that we've done. It was tiring and exciting and amazing, and also seeing some great friends we hadn't seen in years.
Oh yeah,
during the pandemic.
That was like, I initially wasn't gonna go because I was busy with something, and then that something kind of opened up, so I was like, well, I should fucking go then. So I just kind of boot down for the Saturday, and I'm really glad I did, because I got not only to hang out with all you guys, but then, like you said, I got to see a lot of friends I haven't seen in years.
Exactly.
And then the best part about it is also just talking to fans and sharing, new information on stuff we're doing as a studio or individual and stuff, and doing some commissions. But yeah, I forgot how tiring it is too.
Oh yeah, especially like you're at the con all day, and then you're hitting up the dinner in the evening, and shenanigans with friends. So it was like, and we had the gallery opening for Dracula Visions.
We had the Dracula Visions gallery Saturday, so it was like a 1-2-3 punch. All the weekend was insane.
It was crazy. Like, I think we went to bed at 5 a.m. the night of the Dracula Visions event, and it was just like the next day I was just zonked. I was kind of glad I didn't have to go to the convention. You're like, you guys go. I'm just gonna go home.
You guys go ahead. Give me some breakfast though, and then I'm gonna go.
Oh shit! And, man. Hello, Sarah. How you doing?
Oh, hello there, Sarah. How's it going?
It was like crickets out there. No one cares about us, but now we know Sarah cares.
But
glad to.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we're trying to. We had a really interesting day today.
Yeah, we launched our second official Raid Press Kickstarter today, and you know what? We should just run the trailer for this amazing book for the amazing guest we're about to have today. He's been a nervous wreck leading up to this event, but so Calzone is cleaning your PC. All right, well, just do what you gotta do, as long as you're here. Anyways, without further ado, Rob, let's run this great trailer that Kyle Smith did for us. My brain is so fried from this.
Hey, we couldn't even remember Kevin. We couldn't even remember Kyle's last name the other day. Sean, like, what was his last name? Kyle S. And we're like, it's Smith, like the easiest last name.
Like the most common last name ever.
Oh my god, we're awful. We love you, Kyle.
We are terrible, but Kyle and actually Rob helped put this trailer together. So let's run it for today's active Kickstarter campaign.
Wow, so cool.
Fuck, I get goosebumps every time I watch
Yeah, so cool. Thanks, Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Kyle, you rock for that.
Oh,
And Rob,
fuck
too.
yeah. Rob and Kyle, thank you so much for that.
Rob
That
and
is
Kyle.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, super excited. And, well, let's bring the man out.
Let's bring in our really
from
good
behind the green
friend,
curtain, Mr.
S.M.
Sheldon Carter. Yeah. Oh, buddy.
Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy. How you doing today?
Oh man, what a day! What a day today has been, and you're right. Like every time I watch the trailer, I'm just like, I'm bouncing to it. I'm excited. It's just like, man, what a day today has been. Just insane. Yeah, you're right though. Kyle, Rob, I mean, everybody over there at Raid has just done just a fantastic job.
Yeah, it's been a great, it's just a great team effort behind the studio that everybody comes together like this.
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
You know, and you must be pumped. You're just shy, I think, of 200% funded. I haven't checked.
I creased it. I creased it as I was in the green room waiting. So I'm like furiously posting on social media, like, "Hey guys, we did it! Oh my god!" Because I just can't believe it. I can't believe it went 200%.
Oh, it went 200% already.
We're there, guys. Cheers.
Congratulations, buddy! Congratulations.
Cheers.
That is awesome.
Something I never thought in my wildest dreams. So
well deserved.
That is wicked.
What's everyone drinking? We didn't do our intro.
I know we're all out of it.
You got some wine. Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's nice.
I went with Scotch and then a little Macallan, and I've got a bubbly so that I don't get too.
There you go. I have a red rose with lemon.
Oh, very nice.
Because I drank a shit ton this weekend, and my body is just give me something like hydrating for a change.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, so
I don't know. I don't even know where to start, guys. I mean, like I said, today's been a great day. The Kickstarter's off and running, and this is the book that I've been working on for 5+ years.
5 years.
And I mean, you guys know the creative process as well as anyone. It can be a slog, right? There's lots of times during that process where you're like, am I ever going to finish this thing? I mean, you guys have both heard me talking before. Am I going to finish it? Do I scrap it? Like all sorts of thoughts as you go through it. And
it's also tough because it's your first big project, right? Yeah. And you want it to be just perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You want it to be perfect.
Oh, there we go.
The page.
200%.
I don't even know. Like I was just saying, I don't know. I was just saying that I don't know what to say. I think it's like, I'm really excited when I hear people talking about, they can't wait to put it up on their bookshelf. When I think about my book in someone else's home on their shelf, that is exciting. And so I guess just the more people that keep getting behind this thing, the more of that I get to realize. And it's, it's that part's great. And then on top of that, it's kind of humbling, when you see the support that you can get from different communities that you've interacted with for a long time. I mean, Eric and I have done War with Art for a while, and I think there's a contingent of War with Art listeners, even though we were pretty bad for the past year. But I mean, just people who know about the struggles and the creative struggles that everybody goes through. So it's humbling and rewarding to see that kind of start coming together. And I mean, it's been great. So yeah, I love seeing the fact that it looks like is that Eric? Is that you drawing right now?
No, that's Ramon.
Oh, that's Ramon
me
drawing.
Someone's actually got to do your pinups for you.
I didn't.
I'm working on it right now. All right.
This is a treat I get right now. I get to see. Okay. Whoa.
You're getting both of us drawing.
I didn't realize. I just thought it was just going to be
when
you.
That screen popped up. I'm like, is that my screen? I'm like, I'm not. I never start with the head. That's an amateur move.
Oh, so that's interesting. What do you got up over there? You got some face reference there up top there, Eric?
Oh, this is a little. He put together a bit of an art guide, like a bit of a.
Oh, interesting.
For the cover artist, right? To like.
Nice.
That's right. That's right out of my So that's the character you guys both are kind of peeking at. It looks like is Callie, and I wrote the. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. Go on.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I've I actually put a sample chapter up in the Kickstarter, and it's actually about this is the first chapter of the book. So she's she kicks off the whole thing.
Nice.
And she's an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
You could kind of see in Eric's reference, there was a couple, like there was some kind of scarred reference, and there's a mask. And that's kind of some tip-offs. I mean, it's not really a secret about the character. It's something you'll read in that sample chapter. So there was a few looks that I was going through when I was looking at her. All the characters in the book are people of color, which is kind of cool. And so her reference, she has kind of like a golden brown skin, and she's got the scars, and she's a religious assassin, and she's going through the world kind of in this ambitious state. At least that's the start of her character. She's really ambitious to kind of rise up in the ranks of the religious order of assassins that she's in. So yeah, she's a really cool character, and she's one that when I've had beta readers, they have like the most interesting reactions to her. I wouldn't say it's the best or worst. It's just like if they have they have lots of questions and they want to talk about her, and they want more about her. So yeah, it's great to see, and that she's had a great reaction, from people online and stuff like that when they've seen the images that Douglas did of her.
Yeah, speaking of Douglas, we should actually give a shout out to the artist behind the cover here.
That's right. This is Douglas P. Adams. Lobo. I can't.
Lobo.
I'm out of it.
All our brains are a little bit fried. Douglas P. Lobo, yeah.
Douglas P. Lobo, yeah.
And he's a great artist that he actually reached out to Raid about 3-4 years ago.
Yep.
And while we had nothing to collaborate on back then, as soon as you mentioned your book, I recall just going, I know a guy, and I think he did a bang up job. Like,
oh yeah, he did amazing. Yeah, it really captures the feel for it. And what's actually funny is the Kickstarter starts today, obviously, and today isDouglas's birthday.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah, happy birthday, Douglas!
Happy birthday! That's wicked, man.
Yeah. So it starts on his birthday. Now here's the amazing other part. The Kickstarter ends on my birthday.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so that's the bookend we have.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
It's like a very cosmically aligned Kickstarter here.
That's right. Where when I was looking at, I had no idea that it was his birthday when we picked the start.
Okay.
And then by chance, we changed it to. I changed it to the 18th from the 17th, I think, at one point, because I was trying to figure out my own schedule with life. And it's like, the Thursday or whatever that day is that week, it looks a little bit better. It turned out to be my birthday. So yeah, this is my, I'm going to say fortune favors us at this point.
That's awesome.
Wow. It's been a superb day, man. Like we're watching it together today, just slowly tick up, and it's just exciting, man. This has been how many years in the making?
Yeah, 5. Yeah,
5. Yeah,
5 years. I know the first time I ever met Ramon. I think I was talking to him about. Yeah. I've known you maybe just under 5 years.
Yeah, because I remember it was a thing when I met you. I'd heard a little bit about it.
Yeah,
and I know like once you guys started doing War with Art, the podcast, you'd already been I think working on it for a couple of years. Or maybe a few by that point. It's all a blur with all this COVID pandemic lockdowns.
It does feel like we hit a bit of a time dilation where whatever would normally be 4 or 5 years feels like 6.
Yeah, it's just weird. I'm like, no.
Hey guys.
A surprise visit by Rob.
Rob,
we actually have a little special guest who wants to give a bit of congratulations, so I'll pop out and send him in.
Oh, sure. Oh, snap.
Congratulations, Sheldon. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Cheers,
buddy.
Oh, cheers, man.
I love it.
I
love it.
Seriously, though, I at 12 o'clock, I was looking at my phone. I'm like, oh, yeah, it launches today. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be like the first to like pledge and, show my support and tweet. I log in at like 12:01 and there's already like $600 on there. I'm like, okay, well, I still want the book. So tweet. And then I was like, like an hour later, I go, okay, I wonder if my tweets like actually helped. And then before you know it, you've already passed your goal. And I was like, definitely wasn't my tweets. Man. I can guarantee the analytics didn't do that, but congratulations.
Oh, thanks so much, Dax. I mean,
so cool.
You're the one for me watching you go through the process, kind of gave me at least a little inspiration to want to do, because it's scary.
Oh, for sure. For sure it is. When you said you were so nervous, it made me laugh because, I think I did a joking tweet in our group chat in Slack today, but like, weren't you nervous about this, Mr. Funded in one afternoon?
Yeah.
But no, I totally get it. I was there too. And it's a testament to the raid crew and how everyone has put so much work into it, and with your great project. And it's just, it's an awesome synergy of people and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Man.
I'm not coming here to hijack. Hey, Eric. Hey, Ramon. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and say congratulations because I thought it was so cool.
Good seeing you, bud.
So proud of you. That's awesome.
Oh,
Nice.
Dax, thanks so much,
thanks,
man.
buddy.
Have a great show, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. That's awesome. Wow.
Surprise! Get on, Chuck. He's chugging it.
Whoa.
What's going on? I think Rob's supposed to cut that there. Production.
Amazing.
That's
yeah. I can't. You got. I mean, we're in fulfillment stage, right? For Forest Folk right now.
Yeah, we're just literally waiting on one
more thing,
pin.
right?
It's just like
one more pin. That's so
they
fun.
screwed the company screwed up on the pin, and they were like, "Oh, we have to redo it." And unfortunately, yeah, it gets there. We're just like
the book is beautiful. I mean, that's a gorgeous book. So I think anybody who backed that's going to be excited when that comes in.
I agree.
Yeah. What the heck were we talking about? I'm not even sure where I was. I was just saying that it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long haul. And let me ask you this: like, what was the impetus for this story? Like, it's a very unique story, unique setting. Like, I'm always curious where ideas come from. What's the catalyst that was like, you know what, I want to tell this kind of a story or this kind of an adventure.
Yeah.
And I know it's evolved a lot since it first began as well. So I'm curious.
That is interesting.
I'm curious to hear a little.
Yeah, great question, Ramon.
It's like I don't have an answer.
Yeah, I have no answer for that. Yeah, I think so. For me, I was working on. Obviously, I've been working in video games for quite some time, and I was lucky enough to. I was the creative director on The Darkness 2, and in that game, I got to work with Paul Jenkins, who's a really great comic book writer, and it was on a cool property, and it just kind of maybe the amount of work that I got to do on the script and with the writing of that kind of rekindled this love of writing that I had all through high school and university, and I just kind of dropped it for maybe about 4 or 5 years until I got into games. And before that, actually, I worked at BioWare where we did story-based games as well. But working on The Darkness really triggered in me that feeling of like, I guess it's I think for every artist it's about going, can I actually do this? And I thought I'd have ideas. Oh yeah, thanks for Darkness 2 was an amazing game, definitely. And so from after working on that, it kind of gave me the confidence to say, hey, I'm going to try. I actually want to do some writing. I want to pursue something in a big way, and I want to really go deep with characters. And so that was the start of what was called then. Actually, what's funny? I have this manuscript. I'm actually going to pull it up.
Oh, okay. Is this like the first draft?
This is an early draft for sure. So actually, it wasn't called To Steal the Sun when I was working on it. This is the first time I printed. Oh, boy, it's really blown out. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's called Blood of Thieves.
Blood of Thieves, okay.
And I guess this wasn't, nice. This isn't too bad in terms of the size of a manuscript. As I look through it here, none of the characters' names are the same. All there is are notes saying, like, why are you so stupid? Just a brutal, scathing editorial by myself of myself.
That's hilarious.
But it's kind of crazy to see this thing come along from there. I'll throw that away. Well, I don't throw it away. Keep it aside.
It's like the Luke Starkiller. You got the grounding there.
Yeah. So I think for me, I really like from a plot standpoint, I love the idea of heists. Like I love how heists work. I love planning the heist. I like the rules in the heist, and I like how intricately you can plan one and yet have things go wrong and it still be cool. Like I think it's just a great start.
Yeah.
And then of course I've read fantasy my whole life. So fantasy for me was definitely the genre I wanted to write in. But the book didn't really come along until I started getting to the characters. And once, it probably took me a couple years to really get into them, to really understand who they each were and how they tick. Yep. I think that's a skill that I've kind of got better at now that as I've been writing for a while, I can kind of get into a character's head a little quicker. But once the characters started, I don't want to get too wear the beret too tight, get too artistic about it. But the truth is, once the character started talking to me, that's when the story really took shape. That's when it moved from kind of something pretty generic, to be honest. If I look at the notes I even had in that manuscript there, from something generic to something really unique and interesting. And that's when I started figuring out how the magic system worked, what the characters' flaws were, how they could be, real people. That means having life outside the plot and having quirks of speech that were unique to them and all those types of things.
Yeah. No, I think that.
Oh, sorry. Did you lose me?
You're paused. Okay, you're good.
Oh, there you go. Okay. No, it sounds cheesy, but I was talking with people over the weekend. It's definitely true that once the characters kind of land on the page, they kind of start guiding you on the journey. And it's really, I know it's like the cheesiest thing you would say about the creative process. It's so cliche, but I've actually had it happen when writing my own scripts. It's just like you plan a certain thing, but the characters then just take you. They grow. They get their personalities after a few, pages, and then they start going. No, this is what I want to do, not this. Like it's just like they naturally guide you through the story, and it's fascinating and so inspiring to witness when it happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, we get to play with this is the best part of storytellers. You get to play with your imaginary friends, right?
Exactly.
You're doing that, and it just kind of. They guide you and they tell you, and there's lots of things I had in mind for the plot that I wrote that the character said no. we're gonna go a different way.
It's like no, we don't think so.
Yeah. So they kind of flipped it on me, which was great. So it was exciting for me to write the book because, as much as an author, as a creator, you plan out stuff. It's really cool when you can get something that even surprises you while you're writing it, and I think that's what the magic is. If I was to say there's any magic in To Steal the Sun, it's the magic of as I wrote it, I wasn't exactly sure what was going to happen, and that made it exciting for me to write. And so I hope that changes into you as a reader. It's going to be exciting for you to read.
Oh, totally agreed. Yeah. And I think that excitement, that is true. I think when you're excited by what you're working on, I think that excitement does translate into the story, and the reader can feel it. They can feel that energy going out there. So, best of luck on all that, because
man.
Yeah, exactly.
I think people are gonna. I think people are gonna love this story.
Thanks, Ramon. Appreciate that.
Have you during all this time started thinking about a follow-up?
Good question, Eric.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Eric.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Make shit Monday.
Yeah, I mean, when I wrote the story, my plan for it, I guess in a way, and like I said, no plan survives contact with the characters or the enemy. But my initial plan was for it to be a standalone. Like I just wanted to write a complete standalone story because I think for myself as a reader, I was getting really like kind of tired of books that weren't kind of giving me a full complete thing by the time I finished. So I really wanted that. So I think the book does that. However, one of the things that was really successful, again, it's always crazy talking about your own stuff, but one of the things that I think is really successful, and I guess we'll see once people are reading it, was that the world building and the characters kind of lend themselves to other stories. Like it's very easy for me to think about 10 other stories that could happen in the Jeweled Lands, which is where To Steal the Sun takes place, and with those characters at various stages, depending on how they do in the book, which I don't want to spoil anything. but yeah, there's I have lots of ideas for it. I don't have anything other than I probably have like 4 or 5 different random chapters written, and I think all of those could be seeds for something.
Okay. Nice.
Now that I've written now that I've written a book in the world, though, I think writing a second book, well, I hope, God, I hope, writing a second book won't be so long or so hard to do, you know?
Yeah, I think it's that the first baby syndrome. I think once you start on the second child, it's like you're familiar with the process. You know what your shortcomings were, what the hurdles you had to jump over the first time around were, and you're much more confident to tackle those the second time round, so they don't seem as insurmountable or the fact that you don't have to like you're not as worried. Basically, you're like, okay, I've done this before. I just have to write, create, and put it out there. And I think
Did you have any like so what like would you say when you think of your projects, Ramon? What's I know you have multiple, but what's your baby? Like, what's the one that you would be like, okay, this is the one. This is the one that I hold. I know I'm asking you to pick between arms and stuff like that. But what's the one for you that you felt like, or you feel like that?
Oh man, I mean, it's funny. I think I have OCD when it comes to making like I like jumping around on things. I have all these different stories, and different ones bubble to the surface at different times in my life when I feel they're appropriate. So like lately, the big one I've been working on is Payaso, which is about the story of a clown.
Yep.
Very cool.
In a kind of desolate setting of sorts, not to give too much away. But then at the same time, I've also been developing a sci-fi, which kind of tickles another part of my brain, which is not a solitary character. It's a cast of 6 or 7 characters, going on a journey together, right? So it's weird. Like I couldn't choose just one. I know I like working on these things in unison, and I find the right one kind of comes to the surface when it's appropriate.
Okay.
And and it's funny because like the sci-fi series actually, it's a merger of a few different ideas. Actually, part of it began as a story in college when I was really deep into exploring world religions and just diving deep on all kinds of biblical lore, texts and manuscripts, but it was a very steampunk driven book. And I kind of like years later, I just kind of let it go. I kind of shelved it.
Okay.
And then I worked up a pitch for Marvel based on one of their properties. And they politely declined. They were like, well, you're an artist, not a writer. So then they kind of like, put me on, ended up doing Nova as a co-writing to kind of show my chops. Okay. Even though I'd already adapted like a manuscript, I'd done other things, but I digress. But after talking to a couple of other writers on a trip at that time when I was working on the pitch, they were like, just do it yourself, just change the character names, make it your own. I was like, oh, okay. And that one was very sci-fi oriented. And so then as I was developing that one, my old one came to mind. And that one just kind of was like, you know what? These two are kind of like a natural, they're almost like mirrors of each other. Like, because I like certain character tropes. Yep. So like if I put the two stories side by side, I had almost the identical. I had basically revisited my original pitch, but in a new setting in a different way. So I kind of just merged the two into this whole new book, which took the best of both ideas and got rid of the chaff, and then I kind of like got even more excited about it. So it's
interesting.
So it's an idea that's been around for almost 20 years, but then it got refreshed like 5 years ago. Okay, merging, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I think it'll continue to evolve as I get better as a writer and creator. So my one idea to appease my kooky nature is. Hopefully, my plan is to do a lot of writing in 2022, but in 2023, I would love to launch my own personal anthology series just with me, where I do a chapter of each story. Within the anthology, so it'd be like a 3-story anthology released quarterly, and I then after at the end of the year, I can collect it all into one larger story. So it would be
Okay.
I have, and the third one's actually a Western I worked on.
Oh, cool.
Years ago. So yeah, so it's like I'm a weird cat. I'm not. I have a hard time focusing on one thing.
So sorry. So yeah, I pinned you down. But I guess what you're saying is you wanna explore a lot of different facets.
Tell all the stories.
Yeah, it's just like weird. Like I wish I could. I know myself, and I know I can't just pin myself down to one. Like I actually have another story which I've been joking. Like I pitched it to Penguin Random House like about 10 years ago, and they loved it.
Okay.
They were like, we can't afford to pay you to do this, but maybe when you're done it, come back to us and maybe we can work out, a publishing deal.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And then I kind of looked at the story, and it's such a complicated story I'd like set up, which I love. I love like I love nonlinear, like layered character stories, you know. Right. And this was just that, and I was like, so I kept joking to myself. I was like, I'm not going to do this one until I'm 50. So,
so that's like next year, right?
Yeah, right. And a little bit more time than that. But it's such a complex story. I'm like, okay, I feel like I could work on the next 3 as my training ground, and then this last one's a crime. It's a crime noir that I want to work on, and it's just like a one-off story that
That's interesting because it's between the two of you guys. It's kind of funny because I bet if I just walked down a window to my friend, the Black Wolf, I asked him what his project is. I know what his choice would be.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we're 2 different beasts when it comes to this.
It's interesting, right? You guys are really different that way.
I can't do any other story than Arden. I just can't.
He says this as he's drawing one of my characters. I like it. For once he's drawing one of my characters instead of me writing one of his.
I did a bunch of other characters for other Kickstarters this year. You did. And that's fun and stuff, but like I can't wait to get back to our shit, right? So
I know, buddy.
But Eric also in Arden, with your help, has created a world where he can essentially do anything.
Yes. So
it's like all genres mixed into one genre. You know what I mean?
It's definitely in the same vein of what Ramon's going for. I just want to tell all the stories in one world because there's like a sci-fi city, so we could do Blade Runner, Akira-esque, Ghost in the Shell, some of my favorite stuff. We could do those kind of style stories. And then there's like high fantasy, other areas, Lord of the Rings, Legend, all stuff like that. But like we can do all that shit out there, and I'm super stoked at what we've got set up so far, Sheldon. So
that was one of those challenges I think for working on Arden for me was the fact that it wasn't boxed in. Like, it's like what, where do we go? And I think that's why it was cool to kind of make a sub, we kind of like subdivided Arden by saying, okay, we're going to make this Sea of Exiles story because it put us into like a little part of it that we could build out from, rather than, because when you have the whole everything at your disposal, it can actually be kind of daunting, right?
Oh, for sure.
So that was a cool kind of, I don't know, I love that. I love that part about our story right now, Eric, is that we've kind of like, drilled down into one section.
Yeah. And so after every convention, like we were just at the Toronto Fan Expo there as we introed, I'm brimming with like excitement and energy for the next steps, the next projects, and we got a little not behind. We got busy with other things, but like Arden's still going strong for the Sea Exiles for the Instagram. But like I've got a whole bunch of like notes and ideas and plans for both of us and myself to like really pick up the not the pace, but just more stuff for next year. With big plans at the start of 2023. So
yeah, I think that's how I feel. I mean, coming out of the book right now, I'm just like, this is I definitely, this has been it's not a distraction. It's kind of like, it's the work, it's the part of it that I really wanted to do, is to like get it out there and have people actually get involved in it. But just like both of you guys were saying, you keep thinking about what's the next, you're it's like always, as a storyteller, you're thinking about, how fun the thing was that you finished, but what's the most interesting thing about the next thing that you're doing, which is, that's a bit of the struggle. But what was I going to say? I had some sort of segue here. I was going to tell you about something you triggered.
I don't know. I know. While you're thinking about it, we can actually tell our viewers that we actually have a sample chapter of your book.
Oh, nice.
There's a link in the body of the comments section. So if people are curious to read a little bit, and I think Rob can also post it up into.
It's funded.
Chat
So it doesn't matter if it's it's funded now. It doesn't matter if it's crappy now, right? Read it, and it's funded. So yeah.
I wasn't.
Don't tempt people to unfund, okay?
Well, hey, Eric, you don't have to tell the person's name, but honestly, to be honest, one of my the biggest jolts, because it was early in the campaign today. It was before I was before I knew for sure everything was going to go great. You read a text, I think, from one of your buddies from. We don't have to say his name or anything, but one of your buddies. I'd kind of be that was so inspiring for me today. It took me through the first hour or so. I don't know if you have that handy, but it was really cool because he read the chapter.
I can read it right now if you want.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
I would love it because it really inspired me, which was great. It made me feel confident in the day to come.
Yeah, let's see here. Let me dig it up. Here it is. Tell Sheldon that first chapter was so terrible. He really needs to rethink.
Man, I somehow forgot.
It's right here.
I must have heard it wrong.
Yeah, you heard it completely wrong. I was like, wow, he wants me to read that.
Oh, you want me to read that one?
I kid. He said, tell Sheldon I read the first chapter of his book, and it's really, really good. Very impressively good. I legit can't wait to read it. It's right up my alley. Thumbs up emoji. I judge books on how easily my mind gets lost and creates that live movie in my head. I found myself right into it. Very cool so far. Double exclamation points.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Also, Eric, you're really cool and talented. Oh, thanks. That was
awesome. Oh, that's nice. That's nice that they put that in randomly. What a sweet friend that is.
What a random comment to put in there. But wonderful, yeah.
But anyways,
I felt the need to say it. So
yeah, hearing that type of stuff. That's why hey, check out the first chapter. It's exciting when you have I feel good about the chapter myself, obviously, since it's in there. And so that's I like putting that up there. Hey, here's a sample that you can read. And then, if you like this, that's the first chapter of the book. So it gets you right into it. And it's about the character that these guys are both drawing right now. So it's pretty cool that way as well. Anyways.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm pretty stoked to finally get it in.
Thanks.
Right on. How do you say Kaltzane? Saying that right? Kaltzane. Thanks.
Kaltzane. Actually, Kaltzane's. Thank you so much for being here. It's interesting because Kaltzane, I believe, is in Australia, I'm guessing, because Kaltzane messaged me. This was somebody from Twitter, and they messaged me at around 11:30 today and said, "Hey, I'm too tired. I got to go to sleep, so I can't be there for the launch of your Kickstarter." And I was like, oh, well, cool. This is someone who's engaged and is interested in the book. So I was, I was like, hey, don't, obviously you got to get your sleep. I felt like saying, no, don't sleep, just wait. but I didn't at all. I didn't at all. And, but what was so cool is when they logged back in, because obviously the whole day went through and it felt like for me, the day went by in a heartbeat. And then it was all of a sudden they're messaging me saying, hey, I backed the Kickstarter. And I'm like, whoa, you're did you get enough sleep? Yeah, 7-8 hours. It's fine. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that. I love that we live in this, this global village of the internet. Sometimes there's times where that can obviously be rough, but it's really cool when you can talk to people who might be a fan of your work from all over the globe. That part's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
So what I was going to ask you, Eric, about pushing it to you again, just for a sec. How long? So I have 5 years on. I got 5 years now on To Steal the Sun, or ish. What's Arden for you now? What do you think? When you think about your time working on it, how long would you say that is?
Oh, I feel like my very first sketches were probably done in oh god, like 96, 95.
96.
Like,
Damn, boy.
like that's how long I've been kind of like the first thing I drew. I'm sure I said it before. Is I just drew this like hot chick, big boobs with like a dragon skull on her head, and I was like, "Whoa, Dragon Queen!" And then it was like, Arden just came like flooding in, and I just ran with it there. I didn't even have the name. I had different names for it. Oh, right on, good. And but then it's just been kind of refined and worked. I mean, I worked on it at Udon Studios when I was part of it, like early 2000s. I did like a 5-page Vent comic, which I think, well, I'll release again one day. Oh, Scotty, he knows, he remembers it well. He was there, good old Hepburn. Because in college, Joe Vereen and I would be drawing our stupid stories constantly. I literally have pages and pages of sketchbooks filled with like writing and then doodles, like just world building, world building. Never finishing anything.
Right. But at least building.
Lots of like nice sketches that I wanted to finish, but I actually printed like a 5-page story. I think that's my very first Arden that I gave to Joe, and it's at his house. It was just a little 5-page sample story I did of Arden, and I should actually dig that up. That was pretty interesting. But yeah, I'd say a good 20 plus years, man. I've been kind of on. I mean, it really didn't start taking off right on. Thanks, Kevin. It really didn't.
How is it that we don't remember? You guys were saying this in the intro, but yeah, how do we? I was like the other day, I was just stumbling over it. I'm like, it's Kyle something. He must have he's such a cool guy. He must have this amazing cool last name. That's what happens, right? You're like he's so cool. And I'm not saying Smith's not a cool name. It's just common, right?
Oh yeah. Scott's he's saying I had a lip sync project. So for I was in Sheridan for animation, and we had a second-year project where I had to do lip sync, and I did because my characters would be fantasy. Then I'd make them kind of sci-fi. I would jump around because you get inspired by something else, and you're like, I can change my whole thing here and there. I mean, you went through this with your book a little bit, right? So, so at one point I had this like, give me the briefcase, and it was like some assassin girl. It's the worst. It's like we had all this lip syncing, and like, so I had tons of this. This is old school animation. So you had to like flip the pages to like animate the character.
Right.
All I had was a tiny little mouth moving, saying the words. I didn't bother animating anything else.
Just the mouth.
And then I tried to do this like head rotation, like the hardest thing you possibly do. I'm like, you know what? I'll just do it all there anyway. Yeah. So it's taken many different forms and iterations. I mean, it started to take off a bit more with. When I met kind of Ramón through Scotty, by the way, in Toronto at the Raid Studio, when I was going to the convention with Udon, I started to get to know Ramón a bit, and the Raid guys who were doing Transmission X at the time, doing online comics, Carl Kersel, and a few other guys. And I was like, I'm doing an online comic. I was just doing myself, like a weekly post. I said to Joe and Mike, his brother, I was like, let's do a weekly comic. Okay, let's do it. So I started. And those guys did like a week each. Joe did like 3 weeks, and I just kept going. And so I had like 86 posts, which was cool, and it was enough to convince Ramón that I actually do work. And then that kind of changed. Like we kind of finished. I guess Transmission X kind of ended, but I didn't revisit it until we started doing anthologies with Raid, and then on the second one, I asked you to be the writer. And it's changed my life for the better. So it's been great. It's been great working with you, man. Because it started with us jamming on your Steal the Sun story, your NaNoWriMo, the early beginning.
Actually, yeah, that's a really cool thing that I didn't think of. Is that NaNoWriMo is right around the corner. I think it's I think it starts in November, National Write a Novel Month, and that's actually was my first inspiration. That's when the very first time I wrote Blood of Thieves, as it was called then. That's my Dropbox still, which just kind of makes me laugh whenever I save out a version or save something to Steal the Sun. I save it into the Blood of Thieves.
That's awesome.
Box,
but yeah, dude, that's when it started. Because like you would start telling me about your characters, and you'd be like, "What do you think of this?" And I'd be kind of jamming, and like we just had such a cool banter and jam sessions with our individual stories.
Yeah.
And then after you kind of got going with your stuff.
Yeah, that's right. You were working on Raid 1.
No. I was working on the Devil's Leech.
Oh, Devil's Leech. That's right. That's right.
Working on the.
I have one of the few copies of that.
Oh, secret copy.
I have. How many copies are there in print, Eric?
I made 30.
I didn't even get one.
My bookshelf's here. Let me just.
Oh, you got one, eh? I didn't get one. That's nice.
I think I got a couple here. Of course, one's yours for sure, Ramon. But
I want the rare first copy where you forgot to put your address on
there
it.
There it is. Man, this is
what's nice about having a bookshelf is that you get
shit.
So the white is tough, eh? In this light.
I'll do it like this. It's a weird little logo anyway.
You can kind of see it, right?
Yeah.
And then did he sign it for me or anything? We did too.
I did.
There you go.
Michelle, thanks for everything, brother. Let's get her done.
You know what's amazing is Eric forgot to put his name on this.
Oh,
I know. I was the one who pointed that out to him.
This book just has a sticker on the inside that says Eric Vedder with a sticker.
It's kind of like, oh my god, when you print the book, make sure you put your name.
Oh man,
he was just so humble. Like he just didn't want to.
No, the work speaks for itself.
Hey, the artwork is stellar, and the fonts are not.
Oh my god! I brought it to the Ring Studio, and all you guys were like, oh, I can't wait to look at it. And then like, oh yeah, don't show the.
Try to read that.
I think I saw the book and I was like, Eric, why didn't you come to me? Like, why?
Well, you know what, Ramon, you know me.
I love that I have one.
There's 30 out in the world. Actually, it's probably about 20 out in the world, and there's like 10 probably about 25, and I probably have 4 or 5 laying around somewhere here. And some were gifts. It was a crazy expense to pay for just the 30, but I actually made the money back. But yeah, like even when I was kind of showing him at the conventions, I'm like, look, this is my first poem I've ever written, and this book, I didn't know how to do the font, so this is kind of a test print.
Dude, the poem is great. I don't think you shouldn't talk down the poem. Talk down the font. Unfortunately, it's completely illegible. You can't read it.
More time on the font. All right, noted. But I think like one of the projects that I'm planning to do is re-release that in a proper form, all new illustrations, all new plates. I got a big plan for next year, and that was part of the things that I was writing and scheduling yesterday when I got home, because I was all excited to be like, okay, you're going to be done your Kickstarter, not done, but you're going to be done all your nervousness about the Kickstarter not being funded, so then you can focus a bit more. you and I can start talking about our plan for the next year.
The nervousness was real for sure. It kind of like you have a hangover almost after. Like when it got to the 100%, nothing changed. Like I was still nervous. Like I'm like, somehow this could all go away or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad that I'm glad to be where we are. I'm actually excited though, because like the amount of stuff that I kind of in my mind imagined. I don't know how to talk about this in the right way. Like the amount of promotion and the different types of things I was going to have to do to get to the point where we're at already was really daunting to me. And now I'm just excited about it. I'm like, I want to talk about, book upgrades. I want to talk about things that we can do as the campaign goes on. But I mean, it's literally day one, which is kind of nuts to be here. So I know Ramon's like the voice of reason. Ramon and Rob try to talk me like, well, I mean, you know me, Eric. Okay. I get certain ideas and then I attach onto them, and I'm like, okay, we got to do this. And these guys are cool. Like I try my best to be like, okay, if they're not down with it, let's at least take a breath and think about it for a little while, because it's easy to get caught up in it for sure.
Oh, for sure. Like, and we were caught up with it when we learned from experience. We were caught up with it in the Forceful campaign. And I know I'll be in your shoes next year when I do my Kickstarter, right? So like and someone will have to talk me down, because I just know, because you're just like, you want to be doing all the amazing stuff, giving it to the people.
Well, yeah, you get this, like, there's a real amazing interaction you start getting with the people that are supporting you. I mean, there's lots of people who I've had on Twitter or Facebook. I'm not big on Instagram, so that's the artist realm, I find. But I need to engage more there. But I'm definitely really engaged in Twitter. There's a lot of people who I've had great relationships and talked with for a long time, and it's kind of cool to see like that translating into support. And so I'm just excited for like them supporting me makes me want to support what they've
for sure. Yeah.
Right. It's like they've come in and backed me and I'm like, okay, what do I want more value for them, or I want more things to give them, which like I said, we have all that stuff planned. So it's not like we don't have that. I just, it's like how to do it and what's the best way and all those types of things. So it's great to have people in your corner, or in my corner, that are that have done it before, or at least a couple times.
At least a couple times.
I mean, one of the unsung heroes always is Sam. In the background.
Sam is just like a guru of this.
He's always just fucking pushing us, telling us what to do. Get to fucking posting. Share, spread, like, come on, guys. And I love it, because you need a driver. You need someone pushing us out the door, right? And like we're all distracted with different things. Like we're artists, so we want to do a million things and we never do them. But it's good to have someone that's just so like, hey, this what works. This do this. Come on, get to it.
Yeah.
No,
he's been fantastic.
Shout out to Sam, So
he's been great. He's actually helping a lot of creators right now, not just Raid, not just us, but the Lethal guys, a couple of other independent artists. Like, he is so giving of his time and energy to help people succeed. It's amazing, and him and his crew do the Cauldron series, and he's kickstarted a few other projects as well, like Ballyskillin, and right now he's helping out his buddy do the Dracula Visions, which we mentioned earlier today in the opening that we had a gallery show for. Which was
how many can you like how many people ended up being at the show?
Well, it's funny actually. Like people were coming and going all night, and due to the pandemic, I think things might have changed today. But up until yesterday, capacity was limited to 50% of your full capacity here in Toronto.
Right. Yeah.
So our full capacity is about 65, 70 people.
Oh, that actually sounds like a nice event, though. Like.
Yeah,
right?
so
like half that. So half
that was like roughly about
intimate.
30, 32, and like the whole night we were like, people would come and go, like I said. So I'm at the front door working the door with a clicker, and we were always like 29, 30, 31, like just
right against.
It was just kind of hilarious how it timed itself out. So
I love that. I love the studio space so much. I can't wait to come up again.
Oh yeah, one day we'll have to have like, now that things are kind of knock on wood. Becoming a little bit more regular, and people are feeling more comfortable. It'd be great to have you guys down for like a monthly session or something like that, or whatever it might be.
All those guys kept saying, like, you guys got to come up. And I said, look, Sheldon tells me, he's like, let's do it when you want. But I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Just let me know when you want to go. I mean, he's just so busy.
Always blaming Sheldon.
I have to. I'm
the scapegoat because he's on this, so then I'm not always on, so he's always got me to push on.
Oh man, silly kids, silly kids.
What? There's something else I was going to ask about. Oh yeah. So with the Fan Expo. What would you guys end up having? Like, how many tables did you guys end up having there? Like, how did it? Was it just a row, or?
Yeah, it's similar to our setups in the past. It was a bit smaller, but we had 6 artists tabling at the show, and everybody had their own spot. And yeah, we're selling the way we like the Raid store. We always have the Raid store set up, which is basically showcasing all the content.
Right.
And I think that usually takes up a couple tables. And yeah, then Rob was gracious enough to man the sales station for the duration of the event. And yeah, it was good. Like,
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, like I know Rob knows it well, but I'm gonna have to give him eventually we're gonna have printed copies of my book for 100% in that situation, right? That's one of the exciting benefits of this. And He's gonna have to work on a better elevator pitch than I have. That's that's what I have.
Well, I think it's also like this was also a good show because it was our first in like almost 2 years, really.
Yep.
It was a smaller show due to limitations because
Sure.
of the the provincial government, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was a great way to kind of dip our toes back into the con scene, and then we're not really going to do many shows after this. I have personally, I have one myself, but
For the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year, so we can actually now kind of, I think, effectively plan for next year. Like I had some ideas that I wanted to implement back in 2020 when we thought we were going to be doing shows.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and that all just got put up on hiatus, right? So it'd be like, okay, now we've had one show. Let's start planning for the next several rounds. And ideally, I would love to do, because by next summer we'll have not only your book Sheldon, but we'll have Forest Folk Volume 2. We'll hopefully have my book Kookaburra Volume 1. Maybe the Cauldron collection we're talking about with Sam and Shane. So many other things are going to be on our plate. So we're going to be like a little mini bookstore going around to these things.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm excited to maybe try to set up a cross Canada maybe tour or something. I don't know. We have to think about it, but I think it'll be kind of great.
Idea. I like the tour idea.
Yeah, just something like East Coast, West Coast. Plan the shows out, be effective about it, and go from there.
Yeah,
That's cool.
No, it was super fun to do. It was hilarious trying to scramble together. Like, how the fuck do I do a show again?
Right? It's so weird, eh?
Well, there must have been a few things that are just a little different, right? Because you're I know even for myself at those events, obviously, there's etiquette has changed over time, and people are more into, a fist bump. Fist bump goes further, or But I remember, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, especially for us at TennoCons. I mean, it was hug central.
Yeah,
I can't believe how many hugs got doled out, and handshakes and whatever, and all those types of things. It's kind of like you have to get yourself into a new mindset when you're doing these things now, right?
That's true. Yeah, there was a lot of I saw a lot of people I was like, are we hugging or are we doing elbows? And they were like, we're hugging. And I'm like, okay. Gotta just throw it out there.
I'm a big hugger. You guys know that. So
yeah, he's spreading the germs all over the place. He's super spreader.
Love spreader. I think Rob wants us to maybe speak about the formats to Steal the Sun.
I love Eric's segues. So Rob says
he's good.
I was like, if I tried to do some kind of weird and intellectual and philosophical segue, it's gonna be a fail. I'm like, you know what, Rob wants this, let's do it.
Yeah, and I guess I'm supposed to be talking about the book, so yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So what are we
Sheldon
supposed to be
can read
talking
the
about?
same chat as I can. It's just
I just don't. Yeah, yeah. Ramon and I don't read the chat at all.
No.
See, this is why Ramon and I
You're
get along
relying
so
on
well.
me, but
Although
then
he responds to text better.
my microphone's in the way. I can't read the text.
We're pros. We're real pros here.
Real pros.
Okay, so there's yeah, this is great. So with the book, there are 4 different ways. Oh, but only 3 on this picture.
Yeah.
To get
well,
it.
2 of them are kind of the same. There's a soft cover and a hard cover.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So there's the ebook version, which you see, and that's cool because as I called it in the Kickstarter, the deluxe ebook, because what's cool with Kickstarter is you get to do exclusive stuff. So for the ebook, we're gonna make sure we stuff it with all the cool artwork that's been done. Some cool extra stuff that I'm kind of thinking of too that I want to put into that. So talk more about that later. But yeah, so this deluxe ebook. Then there's the audiobook in the middle there, and that's read by Alka Mahante, who's just an amazing actress and producer, but also just has a stunning voice. And I think people who get the audiobook version are going to love listening to Alka. And then, of course, that's the hardcover right there, or at least the mock of the hardcover, and as it is right now. And it's going to be hardcover and softcover for people to read. So every different which way that you can read it or listen to a book is there for you to Steal the Sun, which is super cool. Oh, there's Alka.
There she is. Right.
There you go. So what is your favorite way to ingest a book? You're offering all 4 of these formats.
Well, for me, I think I'm like the weird edge cases, which is why like the first tier I made when I did the thing was to steal it all. because I listen to, there's so many books that I have the audiobook, the ebook, a hardcover, and a softcover. It's surprising to me how much I do that. So I like all of them because I have a dog, so I walk the dog twice a day. If I'm not going with my kids or my wife, which is like half of those walks, I love having an audiobook for that. Yeah. Whoa, that's not my kid.
Oh, beauty.
Rob, you're the worst.
Good timing.
And that's
I like that
hair
flash.
Too.
She's like, ah.
That's scary even for people who've never seen me with hair.
The hair, buddy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, everything that's beautiful must die.
I was gonna say I would think that maybe the audiobook would be the thing you're most excited about because you're gonna hear your story through somebody else's voice back to you, which might be a very interesting thing.
I am excited about that. I think like I'm a bit of a hardcover freak. So and I love first editions. So I probably the hardcover is number one on my list. And then I mean, the fact that we're at the stage here with that Alka's going to be reading it, obviously I can't wait to hear what she does. I've heard a few of her, she did her auditions and she's just amazing. It's cool. Wow. She's got an amazing range. Like she could just be like, oh, I'm going to narrate in neutral, like she calls it neutral American. Right?
Oh, okay.
She's like really awesome neutral American. And she can just go all the way on an accent if she wants to. Like she was in Soul, the Pixar movie.
Oh,
she was Mother Teresa.
Oh, really?
She did the voice of Mother Teresa for that. I know it's a small role, but it just kind of tells you like her versatility.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So yeah, she's a very versatile actress, and yeah, listening to her do the whole book will be pretty stunning. I think I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get like our friend George to maybe record a little bit of an intro or something like that, like give the book an intro and outro music and stuff like that. It was funny because he saw the trailer today and he's like, oh man, like that really works. He's like, who'd you get to do the sound? And I was like, Kyle S, I think, did some of those stuff.
Kevin S.
Good old Kyle S. He's good at that stuff. But yeah. So yeah, that's going to be really neat. Oh, here we go. What's this? Hardcover for my shelves. Ebook for travel.
For myself.
This is it.
Oh, there you go. Ebook for travel, audiobook for moving around.
Love your name, Mud's guy.
Coin fidgeting. Can't wait.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mud's guts.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
I notice our boob sizes are a little different there, Ramon.
Well, I know how you operate, and I know how I operate.
It's like.
I operate in reality. No.
Interpretation.
I love that he has nothing to say to that. He's just like, yeah.
That's correct.
To each their own. Oh man. No,
but like, especially as I find the ebook is always fun to have as a writer. Like I generally, I'd say I probably only read. Lately, I probably only read maybe 25% of the books on ebook, but I usually buy them in ebook because as a writer, a lot of times I want to see how the story ticks. And so,
oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's amazing to just be able to do a Control F, like you remember a turn of phrase, and then you Control F it in the ebook.
Oh, that's cool. So it marks it up or saves it for you, whatever.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And then even like things where I'm insecure about them, I like too, because like there'll be a turn of phrase that I think to myself, ooh, how many nods did I have? And fantasy is rife with people nodding.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this person nodded quite a bit. Then I'll open like one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
See, okay, what did Joe Abercrombie do? How many times did characters nod in his? And then just right down the side of the Kindle, it's like, yeah, there's 134 nods in this book. Okay, I'm good.
That's good. It's good enough for him. It's good enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. Don't overthink this, Sheldon.
Yeah.
God, that's interesting.
So that's cool. And then there's also, like. What was the name?
Mud's Guts.
Mud's Guts. Like Mud's Guts was saying, it is cool to just be able to kind of have something on the go and then be able to, like, I like hardcover on the shelf as well. Like if I was to not really quite let's see here. Can you do this onto my shelf? Let's see. Doesn't really show from here. But anyways, I do that a lot. I'll buy the hardcover of a book and I just go, and up it goes. Never to be spine, never to be broken, just to be beautiful. And I can every once in a while pick it off the shelf and just look at it.
My girlfriend's definitely, when I bought this nice copy of Dune, and she was like, "Are you gonna read this or what? It's been sitting here for months." I'm like, "Hey, give it time." It's just like it's resting, it's breathing. It's like a fine wine. It's breathing on the shelf.
Fine wine. Yeah.
And then you can always open it up and give it a smell.
Exactly. So I'm just looking at this great piece that Eric's developing here. This is going to be, I think, one of your stretch goals. Is it not?
Oh shit!
No more.
Erased.
I think it's going to be a beautiful pinup, though. He's not. Nope. He's doing it to 11 by 17, I think, though, which we might have a hard time mailing out. Might have to be done in a centerfold style poster.
I'm just playing with the poses and ideas right now. I'm gonna go back and forth with Sheldon a little bit on this to see what he likes, but
I've heard Sheldon say this is gonna be one of 3 great pieces that you're gonna do for the book. It's pretty amazing.
Rob's giving me pointers on how I should speak. So I'm going to read it verbatim. So, Eric, a play-by-play. It's so amazing that Sheldon's book has taken off, and it gets me more excited for projects we have coming up for Raid Press on Kickstarter, including the project we've been grinding out these past few months, and coming to Kickstarter Raid 4! This is called the transition, Eric. It starts with Rob is saying you've done it.
God.
Oh, gosh.
Well, you hurt me sometimes, Eric. You hurt me.
You're playing with fire there, man.
I can't win either way, so I might as well just embrace it.
Before the suggested transition, I think, though, we should talk about a bit about the characters, because I think you have like, I'm drawing this character, Eric's drawing the character, you have 3 main characters in the book, which we saw on the cover that we just shared earlier.
Yeah, here they are.
Are you able to tell us a bit more about these fine figures?
Absolutely. So we'll start on the far left for me, which is the man in red. That's Rake. He's a smuggler, and he's kind of the mastermind of the heist. So there's a heist at the center of the book, and he's the guy that always has the plan. I mean, what I love about from a character design perspective is that all of the you kind of look at his jacket that he's wearing, and it's sharp cut, and it's got all these little slits and
I love that.
Hidden parts, right? And that's basically right where that kind of tells you what you need to know about the character. He's a guy who's got a ton of secrets, and he's always got something up his sleeve.
Nice.
So that's Rake, and he's really cool. He's got I guess if there was to be 4 characters on the cover, But there's only 3 because there's each of the chapters are from each of one of these 3 characters' perspectives. But if
really? Okay, nice.
Yeah, if there was to be a 4th, it would be his apprentice. He has an apprentice named Kieran who's with him, and they're again, feedback from people who've read it. They love the kind of witty banter between he and his apprentice. So I think people are going to really like that. But yeah, Rake's a really interesting character that has a lot of depth, and he's one of those. Well, he's the type of character that I've always loved in fiction, and I don't want to compare him to anybody because then you're going to know how he plays out. So then next over is Amara, and she's the thief of the group. She's the most infamous thief in the Jeweled Lands. She's known as the Night Spirit, and the Night Spirit thief has kind of terrorized the aristocracy of the Ivory Empire for quite some time, because she breaks into places that no one else can get into. She's slipped the locks. She's ruined all sorts of different people's careers because of the things she's stolen and the secrets that she's uncovered. And when she's finally caught, it's actually the case with all 3 of these characters. They're kind of stuck under the leverage of the Ivory King. So once the king has leverage over them, he kind of forces them to attempt, or not attempt, I guess, to plan this heist. And yeah, so and Callie, sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but then there's Callie on the end, who I talked about, who's our assassin, and she's a religious assassin. Guess I've had too much scotch at this point. Anyways, yeah. So she's the religious assassin, and she's the one who has just a ton of ambition to rise in her order's ranks. And so the king for her gives her the leverage on her is kind of to offer her. Geez, you know what? I don't want to spoil anything. It's
well,
so
don't
weird.
have to, yeah. You don't have to spoil. You don't have to spoil, but that's quite a bit already.
Yeah.
Like
so these three form the core of the group.
Are they strangers when they?
They are.
Oh,
strangers.
interesting. I love that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, a little bit rivals, I guess, in some way too.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, Rom. Sorry, go.
No, you go ahead, Eric. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, you're still talking about your character. You have more.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, I love how the cover is set up, because I think it tells you a story. It's the way they're kind of, two of them have their backs to each other, or one's kind of, none of them are looking at each other. It kind of gives you that sense that you have a team of rivals.
Yeah.
But yet in the background looms this kind of a cool tower of mystery. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to try a heist that's so impossible they call it To Steal the Sun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what you said you love heist stories. What is your favorite heist movie?
Ooh. That is a good question. I think I would go. I mean, it's been done twice, The Italian Job, but I think The Italian Job is my favorite of the heist movies, just because I love the backstab twist at the beginning. Like that was awesome, because it wasn't something. I mean, it is now kind of tropey because of that, but like I love the way it twisted. Yeah,
was that now? Do you like the remake more or the original with Michael? The original was Michael Caine, if I recall, right?
It is Michael Caine,
and it has a very different ending.
They're both great.
Yeah,
I think it would be cool for me to say I like the original better, but I think I like Marky Mark and Charlize just a little bit better.
Well, they're two very different movies, and like I've seen both, and I love both, but they're very different.
Yeah, for sure.
And Charlize, I mean.
Yeah, she's great. And then the runner-up might be Heat.
Oh yeah.
Great. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be Heat. I love Heat. Yeah. I love De Niro and Pacino. Like,
oh man, there's so many good ones though. Another great one. Gosh, why can't I
think of
the name? The Usual Suspects.
Oh yeah, classic.
The Usual Suspects is just also amazing, and that's another one where I guess what I love about if you can pull a good twist into a heist, that's probably why I go more with Italian Job more than anything, is because Heat's pretty straightforward, amazing, but pretty straightforward. Whereas Italian Job, you're really never sure what to trust with the characters, for a pure, like there's different aspects of heist films or heist stories. Probably the best planning sequence is Oceans. Like I really have to say the Ocean's 11 planning sequence is just that's one of the pinnacles. It's one of the pinnacles of filmmaking. Honestly, it's hard to write a scene like that. In fact, it was hilarious. I had an editor. This is in an early draft. Say, "Oh, you think you're making a TV show? You're writing newsflash. You're writing a book. That doesn't work." Like, it was so funny, right? You always swim to the closest rock or your reference material when you start, right? So I swam pretty hard towards Ocean's planning scene because obviously I loved it so much.
Yeah,
and it's cool because now it's not that because he was good enough to shoot me down. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. Man, there's a lot of great.
What I also like Ronan's another favorite.
What's that?
Ronan.
Oh, Ronan. Yeah,
Ronan's great too, man.
Yeah,
one of my favorites too.
It's funny how heist like in the last while has become, well, I guess mainstream has become more about the chase sequences. than the actual
yeah.
heist. I thought it was brilliant how was it Fast Five? Fast Five is basically a heist movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's basically a heist movie, and they just said, okay, let's just make the most extreme chase sequence ever, where they're going to drag the vault around with them by the cars and have it smash up the city, right? Because that was like the logical escalation from the Italian Job and the minis to Ronin, which did Ronin have minis too, or was it like
no?
Just
they had
Beamers?
like their Beamers
like Audis.
or
Yeah, they're
Audis
Beamers
or something.
right?
Yeah,
Beamers and Audis, you're right. And then like it was like Fast Five to me felt like they were just going to the next extreme logical conclusion of that. But I do like when it kind of tightens back up into, you know, like, hey, there's people in the vault, they're trying to figure it out. Have you guys watched I think it's called, like, it's got the most cheesy name. Is it Heist what?
Who's
like it's a Netflix show. It's
new, right?
Spanish.
Oh, the Spanish one. The
what's it called? Heist something. It's like really on the nose.
I know exactly. Yeah, I've watched the first season only, but I've heard nothing but fun things about it. Where it just goes.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Like fun versus good, I guess, is a good thing to qualify. But I like, as someone who loves heists, I was still into it.
Yeah,
I still wanted to see what they were going to do. So,
Sheldon.
Yeah.
One of the things, I mean, you've talked about this before, and I know about this because I've been with you on this journey somewhat. But maybe you could talk about like what you did 2 years ago to the book. Like,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. That's actually a great one, Eric, because well, yeah, pretty much.
Burned it, yeah.
Money Heist, says Dinesh.
Money Heist, that's it exactly. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I do. I'm like, it's so on the nose. I can't even come up with it. Like it's
like Kyle. What is it?
Kyle. Yeah.
Kyle steal the sun.
Yes. Yeah. So the big change that I made about 2 years ago in the book was after I read, which is now in theaters, not a plug, is Dune. And I read Dune for the first time as someone who loves fantasy and sci-fi. I just had, you always have those holes in your. What are the books you've read or whatever. And so I read Dune on a vacation, and in this really like old crappy copy. I almost want to show it to you because you can tell I love books because all I want to do is show books. Let me just see if I get Dune here.
I gotta lubricate. Water. That's my secret. My party secret.
All right, I guess I won't. I lied. I don't know where I put it. I must.
Big liar.
Oh, there it is. Shit. Boom. Okay. Here's my crappy version of Dune. You can see now, if you see in the bottom corner, I still has like the little thing from where the secondhand store.
Oh yeah,
in Muskoka had it. Just all busted up. All the pages are browned but the text is probably like 6 point. It's amazing. Anyways, God. Oh, it smells good too. Anyways, so I read Dune, and it made me take another look at kind of what I was doing with the world building, and go back and like take a look at everything that I had written up to that point to see what I really wanted to do with that. And there's elements all through the book of this influence of my heritage, which my mom's South Asian. She's from Goa, a section in India. Well, I mean, she lived in India and Pakistan before the split. I mean, she's born pre-split of those two countries. Anyways, but she's a Goan, and so I grew up in that culture, and you could see it in so many parts of the book when you kind of looked closely that influence was there, whether it was in the food or it was like a style of dress or it was a few things. But at the same time, what I had done was I'd kind of written a pretty typical Western fantasy with those elements kind of hidden beneath it. And reading Dune kind of made me think, you know what, I need to look at the culture in a serious way. And so, I basically took a year and I rewrote the whole book and redid the world building, so that I could have a book that was set in a world inspired by kind of the myths of ancient India, would be the way I would put it. But I wanted to have something that wasn't just like, it's not like, it's funny. I always hesitate saying that because I think people automatically think of the Hindu myths, and I think one of the cool parts about India is that it is a melting pot. Goa, where my mom's from, is Christian, and then there's tons of other religions and cultures in India, and so I wanted the book to be a reflection of that, in that it would have multiple cultures, multiple religions represented, all the kind of cool stuff you can do with music, food, and dress. I wanted more silks. I wanted spice. I wanted smells that were going to be a little more vivid. And that actually reinvigorated reinvigorated me to finish the book. I mean, I think the book was sitting at a kind of weird 70% stall because I don't think I was confident in some aspect of it. And as soon as I hit the setting and I really understood it, and I was willing to just say, if I have to tear down and rebuild every chapter to get there, I will. And once I did that, it just clicked. And now I think that's probably one of the strongest elements of the book. And
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, good question, Eric.
Yeah, man. I just a good story. Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Right there. Yeah. So it's a beautiful area, and Goans as a group, it's called that because the Portuguese actually, they kind of colonized that area of India. So you kind of think of India as like, either this big Hindu nation or kind of the British colonialism. But Goa, was actually colonized by the Portuguese. And so, like, for example, my mother's maiden name is De Cruz.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which is a Portuguese name. Anyways, it was cool. It was cool to kind of embrace that and to do all the research and to really dig into that. And that's yet another reason why I'm excited about Alka as my narrator, because Alka can actually, she's also Canadian, but she grew up in that same culture as I did.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she speaks something like 7 languages.
Oh,
wow. That's crazy.
So she's really cool, and she can kind of bring that life. I want the same, the vibrancy of that culture. I want it to come across when you're reading a book. It's going to be a fantasy, and just the truth is there aren't a lot of fantasies that go that path. I can think of some. It's not like there's none, but there's not very many, and they're not super familiar to the Western audience. So I'm excited for people to read it and kind of get a bit of an understanding of that, while at the same time just getting a kick-ass heist story.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
man.
I'm excited.
So now, Eric, are you designing all 3 cards now?
I love it. That's great.
I see a 1 and a 2, so I'm like,
yeah. The third one should be a male character, and we're all set. Yeah, it's perfect.
No. I only have time to do 1.
No, you have all the time. You're a good friend.
I am a good friend. I'm marking it down so that, like, maybe Sheldon can be like, yeah, stay away from number 2, or keep doing 1, or extract both. It's kind of like, or maybe the channel has some ideas. They can be like, hey, that one's looking sharp, but the thing is, it's going to go through a lot of revisions. But maybe we can talk about the thing that I
you were alluding to before. Well, we could do the nice segue, as would be. This wonderful thing that we're doing actually has another story by you and Sheldon together for Arden. It's the 3rd chapter, or no, 4th actually, I guess, in the anthology series of books that we've done featuring Arden, where they're all standalone stories, but each of your Arden stories has focus on different parts of the bigger story, I guess.
They actually part of my writing yesterday was how all 3 can kind of link up to our current storylines to some way, and kind of come up with some, Sheldon, interestingly enough.
Oh yeah, all right.
And I feel like all of the Arden stories so far, including this Raid 4 one we're doing, are either backstories of the characters or stories from the future. So, so it's gonna be interesting, I think, as people read them all. Yeah. And I had a great fan come by the booth Saturday, who had bought all the anthologies, all 3 of them,
Okay.
Went away, came back, said she read them all, and said, "Oh, I really love what you did. That's amazing." And then bought some prints, and we chatted. I gave her all kinds of swags, whatever I could, and it was really cool to hear that, because that's what you live for, right? Those fans that saying, "Oh, I love what you're doing." So,
Yes, absolutely.
but yeah, I'm really excited about this newest one.
Yeah, me too.
Sarah, Mama Deadhead has a quick question for you, Sheldon. What is the most exciting thing about doing this Kickstarter?
What's the most exciting thing?
Ooh,
I mean, there's a lot, but I think that's a good question. I think when I think about it, I think I said this at the beginning, so I hate repeating it, but it's like I think about other people, the fact that other people are going to actually have my story
on their shelf.
Yeah, on their shelf. Like just the fact that it's going to be in their hands. I think for the longest time when I thought about the Kickstarter or when I thought about releasing the book, I always thought of it like it was going to be probably an Amazon ebook release, which obviously I have no issue with ebooks, but I just kind of thought of it like that. And that was it. That was where it ended. It was just like, oh, I'm going to write this book and some people are going to read it on their phone. And that's totally a fun way to read the book.
Yeah.
But again, as kind of a book lover like myself, the thought of you picking up the book and holding it, smelling it, reading it, and I'm not one of those people that has, as much as I'm very precious with my hardcovers, like my soft covers, I dog ear them. I'm chaotic evil. Like I'll underline. I do all sorts of stuff. Like a book to me is like a living thing that you can mess with and make your own. I love that idea that like if I pick up a book in it, especially at a used bookstore, and like I've seen someone's kind of done something to it, in a way I'm kind of interested. If I love that book, I don't feel bad for the author because I'm going to buy the hardcover and probably the audiobook and the ebook. But nice. But yeah, just the fact that you're going to have it in your hands, that's the most exciting. And I think what I was so nervous about going in was just, would enough people actually, want that? And now I see that people do, and it's kind of put me over the moon, to be honest. I'm the happiest person. I'm the happiest person on the street in London, I would say, for sure. I just watching whenever I see people. I mean, even now as we're talking, I keep watching. My notifications flip up on Twitter or on Facebook, and someone's like, "I just backed it," and I'm just like, "Oh my god, this is another person who's gonna." Yeah,
and these are all people who are discovering you and like, you know what I mean? That's what I love. Like people who are just gonna find out who you are, discover the story, and you're now affecting their life through this story in some fashion.
And that's what I hope. I mean, my hope is that you're gonna read this and it's going to. It's going to, I don't know, books have changed me or touched me or made change my perspective a little bit. And I hope that with these characters that you'll get that too, right?
Yeah. No.
Now we just need the Leafs to win.
What, did they lose?
No, but they're down 3-1.
Don't ask for the impossible, Eric.
Fuck's sake. Let's not bring this day down. Do we want to speak about the
Raid 4? So like we were talking about Raid 4. I mean, last week I was working on the cover during our episode, and
shit!
So we just did like a mock-up here for.
Oh shit!
Amazing. That's Scotty Hepburn's cover there.
Yeah, Scotty Hepburn's artwork on the cover, and. And then we have. So people are going to wonder why the back is upside down. Is because the book is a flip book. So we have side A and we have side B, and each kind of section of the story. I mean, each section of the book kind of revolves around a different kind of story dynamic.
Oh, cool. So which side are we on, Eric?
You guys are in side B.
We're a B side.
You're a B side.
Yeah, so that means we're on the orange.
Exactly. You're on the orange.
Dutch colors is good.
Dutch colors is good. So
that's awesome. Wow, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
And we're gonna be
looks great.
Taking this to Kickstarter after or near the end of Sheldon's campaign. So we'll be jumping from one to another in the next month. We're excited to kind of pivot and offer, not only your book, but also a graphic novel anthology.
Yep.
And hopefully in time get it out in time for the holidays. So we'll see what the printer allows and what's possible. But
that's cool.
That's exciting.
It's always exciting to see it come together, as you no doubt probably feel with your book.
Yeah,
Sheldon,
that's
as well.
Indeed. That's all Ramon, Sarah. That's his graphic design OCD eye. And it's beautifully done. The colors, I think it's their strongest anthology cover yet. I think it's fantastic. I mean, I really like Grade 3 as well, but this one is, it's just so fucking.
Yeah, I mean, as a set, they're kind of amazing. I actually have. I'm gonna swing I keep swinging my camera, but I'll swing it around here. I have Grade 2 just up there over my couch in my office.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Is that your first published work?
All by itself. I'm gonna put more stuff in there, right? So
would you say that's your first published work?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's my first published work. That's just words. I loved it. Yeah,
that was a fun story to work on, man. We
that's for sure.
Those crazy elves.
Those crazy elves.
Started as this wandering band of dumb orcs that we started to fall in love with, and we're like, oh, let's not kill them. Let's change the story.
Hilarious.
You're not afraid to change ideas, that's for sure.
So, what is, since we're talking about, storytelling and you building not only To Steal the Sun, but also Arden, what is your current tale about on Instagram?
Sheldon?
Ooh.
I just dropped.
Well, there's multiple. There's so many stories, and that's great. That's what that's joy right there, is having lots of stories.
For sure.
Yeah. So Arden Sea of Exiles it's pretty neat. It's a team story. So if you like kind of the X-Men, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Firefly, those types of stories, imagine that, but you're gonna mash it up in this crazy world where technology is infringing on the fantasy world. So there's these kind of three main characters, but they've got a crew around them that are dealing with loss, because the world was lost in a war. And we kind of detail a little bit about that. Yeah. They're kind of war vets that have escaped to the fringes of Arden. Oh, there we go, right there. Boom.
Nice little scrap together.
Oh, these are the Instagram stories I made. I'm sorry, Eric, but it's cool to see these, right? It just kind of shows you a little bit, right? And it's like there's a crew, and they're dealing with so much. And the way we've presented it is, you can see our checkerboard here. We do we alternate prose and comics.
Yeah.
And so the comic can be like, you don't really see by looking at the thing. Oh, here we go. But like you can kind of scroll through. Like the comic will be multiple images, and same with the prose. The prose will be multiple images as well. So you're getting like a really kind of interesting graphic novel experience. And it's all for free. It's all on Instagram.
Free, and it's been super fun to do and challenging, because we went pretty aggressive. We post a comic Tuesday, prose on Thursday, So I think we were pretty steady for the six weeks or so, and then we just got slammed with Raid 4 and your Kickstarter, so we put a little bit on hold. We're still working on it. Don't worry about that.
Oh yeah, and I think we'll, like, the best part about it is right now we're in a really good space with the story. Like, we know where the story's going. We know what the next big reveals are with it. For myself, as someone who wrote a book in 5 years, putting out like 1,000 words every 2 weeks or every week is daunting, because I'm used to spending so much time on each thing. But I think it's also making me better. Just like working on To Steal the Sun made me better, I think this is making me better in a different way.
Oh, dude, when you show me your rough stuff and you're like, oh, it's no good, Eric, just take it easy on me, give it a little read. I read it and I get so fucking excited, because I'm like, oh, I get to see what we're doing next, and get me all excited and want to draw the page and stuff. Actually, speaking of the next page, the next one will be going up tomorrow, the next comic page. So
very nice.
Keep an eye out for that. I know we're a little late with it, but it's coming. We're not abandoning it. Trust me.
It's great.
How I was going to ask you that. You're kind of touching upon something I was going to ask already. It's like how much different, because you said the book where you're kickstarting today. Yeah. You spent 5 years on, and now you're literally spending a week on an update, or maybe not even like a few
Sometimes
days
it's
per.
less. Yeah.
How is it changed? I know how it works with art, like because obviously we have deadlines that shift. I've spent months and months on something, and I've also spent hours on something.
Yeah.
So.
It hurts a little, to be honest, sometimes putting this stuff out. I had a great conversation with at the raid retreat. I was talking with Reese. What's Reese's last name?
York.
Reese York, yes.
Yeah.
So Reese and I were talking, and he had read all of the Sea of Exile stuff, and he was just, he was just being an amazing kind of collaborator friend, and he was just talking through some of the issues of it with me.
Oh, okay, nice.
Which I thought was fantastic. I was really appreciative of that. It's always cool to talk about story creation with other creators, I think. So I found it enlightening, but at the same time, there's a part inside of me that's dying because he's telling me stuff that I was thinking, I think if I would have spent a little more time on it, or maybe if I just would have had this idea a little sooner, I probably would have got there. But at the same time, like I said, it's really useful because he told me that, and then I'm like, okay, like this is stuff I can put. Like I usually, before I do write anything that's this fast, I usually put a few rules on the page before I even start writing to remember what I'm going to do. From a story perspective, what I'm going to do from a character perspective. And so it was cool to get a few notes from him that I could kind of stick on the top of the page as well. So that, if I'm doing an action beat, just make sure that I am going tighter, because those are things that usually come from me in editing, right? Yeah. And when you don't have the time to edit, which is, kind of the definition of being a pro, I think, is that even on short on time, you do your best work, the best work that you can, right? There are things that you can do. So, it's definitely different than writing a novel, because a novel you can you can spend the time on every sentence, really, if you want to. You can drill in on every sentence and make sure that it pushes. And it's something where you're writing 1,000 words that have to ship in a week, and it's usually more like you were saying in 2-3 days. Well, you're doing a lot of shorthand and hoping it gets you most of the way, right?
Yep.
I feel like for sure, and well, even for me with the drawing, I'm trying to pick up my amount of production of work outside of work, as Ramon knows, and as I always struggle trying to get work done, right? Like just trying to get more and more out there, and I want to get better at it. And I got big plans for the next couple of years, and this was such a challenge to just be like, we're gonna post once a week. I'm like, and I had nothing malicious, but you're like, you sure you can do this? And you're right, because I just haven't, but I used to do it with the Transmission X stuff that I was talking about. Like it was once a week, and I'm like, wait, I'm faster, and now I'm kind of digital and stuff. It's like I can do this once a week, and you know what? I have to. If we're gonna this is where Dax was a big inspiration, because every Friday he does his Forest Folk. And he's got 3 years or 4 years, I don't know how fucking many he's got of these comic strips, and now he's got a fully funded Kickstarter with a second book kind of on deck eventually, and all that stuff's done. So I'm like, we got to do something like that. We got to push ourselves, and just like you with the writing, my art's gonna should improve, and and just by doing it, speaking of Hepburn, Scotty always said, it's like, it's not about quality, it's about quantity, because the quality will come through the quantity. And I was like, fuck. So, it's not like I'm phoning stuff in. It's just that every page I try to do a little bit better than the last. And already looking at some of them, I'm like, oh, fuck, that doesn't look good. But you know what? It's out. It's done. Move on.
Well, the beauty of something like this is I've said this about any stuff I've done on the web, is it's like a draft. You can always, because I know you're drawing the pages for traditional print, because I've seen your overall pages, and you're breaking them down for online. So should you ever go to print, you can always do an editorial pass on the book and clean up any writing, any art, should you like. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of what we do. It's all fluid, especially doing something on the fly like this so quickly. Yeah.
But there's some, I think Sheldon and I do really well with that, that kind of pressure of shit. We got to get something done. Your next prose, Sheldon, I'm really excited about, because you alluded to a new thing you wanted to try, and I don't know if you want to talk about it. We don't have to talk about it, but I really liked what you were saying. I'm very curious to see how you're going to do it too.
With the next.
Because we're introducing kind of our next character.
Yeah, to this point we've bumped between 2 characters, which is great, and we do have a third one to introduce. And without saying who the character, yeah, exactly, we're gonna get a little preview of them in this next one. And one of the things I wanted to try, and I think this is kind of me trying to stretch my wings a little bit as a writer, as well as I think it's perfect for the story. I don't think I would do it if I didn't think it was. Is to write it in second person. So that would be, I'm not sure if you've read any books that are in second person, but it's one where a second person narrative would be, you wake up and see. It's like talking to it's as if someone's telling the protagonist what's happening. It's a really interesting personal take, and it also kind of, it's not as distant as third person, but in a weird way, it's more distant because it's another person narrating it. So anyways, I'm excited to do that because I think we're going to be able to tell some really cool stories and set the table for, I guess, some of the exciting things we have planned for the story down the line.
Me too, man. And even like when we were at the Raid Retreat a couple of weeks ago, we sat in the barn and we hashed out kind of the next storyline. I'm really excited to get to the teeth. That's going to be really interesting, that whole storyline. Kind of introduce our antagonists a bit more, right? So, lots planned, and I'm excited. Looks great, man. I don't know if you're talking about mine or Ramon's, but yeah, thanks.
It's cool.
I'm just playing.
I love it. Guys, you don't understand. There's a part of me here that's just watching. I'm just watching you guys draw my character, so I'm just excited. I'm just like, I'm loving it. I love, you guys are super talented, and seeing a character that I've described that one artist has drawn, and now seeing, you guys do it. It's amazing. So it's exciting for me. It's cool.
I think that was kind of the goal for that cover, right? Is like you wanted to have something to inspire the reader, because it's always, they're going to have their own ideas about when they're reading what they look like, and this cover's like kind of a guide of what they could look like. It is, because you're always still going to interpret it your own way and put your own face on them and their own.
For sure.
But I went back and started looking, because obviously I gave the guide that that you were using, Eric, and then I sent Douglas. I'd sent him a few passages, so he could read a few too, so he could get a little deeper on some of the looks. And it was like it wasn't exactly what I had thought when I was writing it, but it was awesome. And that's what I like. Actually, I like working with you as well, right?
Yeah, man. We jam. I get so excited. I almost start shaking because I'm so excited about the story ideas, and I can't get it out fast enough because I want to just hear it. I want to throw ideas at you. I want to get feedback on. I want to hear your ideas, and and that's why those Arden retreats are so awesome and special, right? Because we just get to really nail down kind of some big things, and there's nowhere to go, so we're just constantly dealing with it, which is great. Because we have to there's a lot to do, right? So, but
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So.
I feel like I need. Well, I guess we're almost done, but I want to get a quick refill. Are you guys okay if I just go grab?
Go, girl.
But there's a little live update.
Oh, there's a live update from Raid. Sorry, let's
get a refill. Whoa!
Oh, nice. 200% 11. Nice.
I like how the progress. It just plateaus. That was great. That was really great.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks for showing us that.
Yeah, go get a refill, Sheldon.
Okay, right back.
Oh, how you feeling about your drawing there, Ramon?
Just having fun with it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's always interesting translating something else into your own style.
Totally. I'm trying to do that kind of card art style tarot card. Stuff. And any Warframe fans will recognize the Prex card if they're familiar with that. But that's kind of my jam these days. Is more and more of that stuff because I really love it. They take me long to do, but I feel like my jam right now. I'm excited to work on it.
It's looking good. I like the ideas you're developing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I want to go for a completely center pose of her or something more lounging, more Luca-esque. So got a couple ideas here because I don't think action shots really work that great for this particular thing, but you never know. So
for the cards, you mean?
Yeah, I kind of like those
Yeah, they're more like, visual poetry than.
Yeah. Maybe I'll take your pose and steal it.
my pose isn't that great. This is one of my basic default poses.
Default poses. I love watching your line. It's so cool, man. You build up the abs like that. I love that shit. That's really cool. That's one thing I wish I started to do more is dropping more heavy blacks and inks. And I know you keep saying you love the first Arden story in Raid 1, and I like it too because there was a fluidity, like a speed element to it because like we were cramming it out the door, but that also kind of added to the style. And
for sure, 100%
I definitely like a lot of that. I think it'd be a great Netflix special.
What would be a great Netflix?
Raid 1. I think that'd be fun to work on.
Nice.
I think it's
simple, right? It's really simple, but I think it'd be pretty cool. And before we get into the wildness of what all the big stuff, Sheldon, we want to do. So,
I think it kind of speaks to what Sheldon was saying earlier, and about like sometimes the speed of something will help define the way you attack it, but also help you develop your style in different ways, right? And I think that's kind of like what you could see in Raid 1. It was you just kind of going at it super fast because you were like, I got to get this done. So and I think the reason I like it so much is because it's very unlike you. It's very. I'm not saying that your other work is bad. I'm just saying it's always neat to see someone go out of their comfort zone, and try something they're not used to, and see what kind of magic happens. And then you take that, and then you apply it in other realms.
You get energy, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like what I was saying when we were looking earlier at the Devil's Leech. Eric is just like, you wrote a poem. It's cool. It's got an energy, right? You were trying something. I mean, that's why I like. There's some cool things that I really like about Raid 2 because of that. Because Raid 2, it's like we tried just some wild stuff that was a little bit out of both of our comfort zones. So it's neat. Whenever you can push yourself a bit that way, it's great, right?
Exactly.
I love Raid 2 for so many things. Not only was it the start of our relationship as writer and author, it's like just the fact of where it came from, like the talking skeletons, and then where we took it.
Totally.
And like the All Mother and the crazy birth and stuff, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is Arden heavy metal, man. I want to.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. Like some of the exciting parts for me about To Steal the Sun are how there were parts I wrote that made me uncomfortable as well. That was hard. It was hard for me to write. Luckily, I have this amazing resource that lives in my home with me. Samantha, my wife, and I dedicated the book to her, and she read those hard parts. She read them in their rawest and worst, and at least I had someone to be a sounding board. So it's always great to have people or collaborators in your life like that you can do some of those early ideas, and I think it's great that I have Samantha, and then on Arden I have Eric, which is also amazing, right? You're my partner that way. We
Your other wife.
Crazy,
Your other wife,
my Arden wife,
my Arden
wife, and I can bounce ideas off you and get this kind of interesting ideas about. It can be a little bit raw and a little bit like we can be. I can be scared about sharing it even with you, but know that it's in a safe spot. So those are cool things to have,
Well, what, and I always say, like the very first retreat that we went together is when we kind of we came up with the ending, right? Like instead of her destroying this monster, it turns around into like this recycle rebirth thing. And I think I remember you had left by then. I was telling Ramon about it downstairs or upstairs, and he's like, "Oh, that's really cool." And like it was just like something clicked with the way that we were jamming. That's like, okay, moving forward, we're gonna keep doing some pretty wild stuff. Right? So and that scene where the enemy and the All Mother connect, and I'm just like, it's so fucking out there. I'm like, yes. Yes. Just happy that it was ours, you know. Like I'm like, we did this. So anyway,
for sure.
fuck. That would be an awesome Netflix.
Okay, keep going to Netflix.
Or you know, just because like I mean, ultimately, man, like I want to do animated shit, man. Like come on, you know, get George in on the music. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Bring our third half of the War with Art guy involved. You know, get him involved. He's such a great guy.
Yeah, no, he is
and
for
then
sure.
The raid people can get to know him a little bit too, maybe because he's so great.
We can introduce him to Kyle S. and see what happens.
Kyle S. We can talk about music. Kyle S. Yeah, but yeah.
That's great.
I'm excited, man. Super excited.
Guys, this is cool. So, I see Ramon digging into some details there on the.
Yeah.
It's awesome, guys. Oh, I know, I do. It's awesome.
I'm just trying to play with a couple of card poses, or card. I say card, but like pinup poses.
So you're saying I have to pick? I can't just say I want them all, or
you can say that. I don't see why not.
Well, I mean, if time permits, I of course would love to do all your characters, but I'm doing one for now. It's just,
all right.
It's just I have this.
I like that Ramon and I keep pushing. Like every time I hear Ramon say it, he's always like, "You should do all three. You should really do all three."
You guys are not.
I'm like, fair. Yes, I agree with you, Ramon.
Yeah,
as on most things, I agree with Ramon.
What's one a week? Come on,
come on, whatever. Yeah, I also have a day job too, which is
and I know that gives you plenty of time. The evenings, you do it a little bit in the evenings. Call it a day. Look how you almost laid out 3 full cards there right now.
Yeah, that's easy to lay them out.
I believe you said something earlier about challenging yourself and pushing your abilities.
Oh, okay, I think we're ending soon, so we're at 10 minutes.
It does feel like we hit a theme here.
Amazing. Excuse me.
From Eric.
But yeah, I guess it's time. It's not time to wrap things up.
Sure, yeah.
But
Ramon, I've seen you from this morning. I saw you from when the first time we've been on Zoom with each other all day today.
I know.
I'm sorry that you've had to look at me all day.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for the day.
My pleasure. It's exciting to see. We all give our time here, like whether it's myself, Rob, Kyle, everybody else, and it's just exciting to see it all come together. And
is it
happen.
ever?
You know what I mean?
Ever?
And so that it's just like so wonderful, and
Yep.
It just makes me happy that everybody's winning here. Basically,
there's a lot of winning. This is great.
Yeah, and I look forward to us hopefully, knock on wood, winning more and more and more with everybody else's projects, endeavors, and all that stuff. So
look at that.
We're gonna make a beautiful book. It's gonna look amazing and get into everybody's hands, and people are just gonna know who you are and read this story and just it's just like I remember picking up my first Dragonlance book when I was a kid, and just it's still on my shelf 35, 40 years later. It's still on my shelf, right? That same book I read, dog-eared and whatever.
I want that. It's funny, we have like in our neighborhood we have one of those little community mailboxes.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'll be slipping a couple copies
exactly,
in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone. No, we'll just keep it refilled.
Empty it all.
Everybody, all the other books out. Just stack it with mine. There you go.
I've actually done that in our neighborhood here. We have there's a community where I put all the anthologies in.
Oh, that's amazing. That's cool, right?
I put like a little stamp in there and said, "Hope you enjoy." Just whoever picks it up,
I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah.
So is there any other things you want to plug, like other than your Kickstarter? Like we got.
I mean that's the main. If you've watched this whole thing and stuck around and had to put up with me not drawing while these guys did draw, thank you. and I would love it so much if you checked out. Even go check out the page, because I think, like I said, Kyle Smith did an amazing job. Thanks to Rob as well, putting together a trailer that gives you a taste for it. And then when you kind of go through the whole page, Ramon did some amazing art that kind of gives you, like, I love that it feels like To Steal the Sun, like the whole page feels like it. It's an
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
I think that's why I think that's part of why people are engaging with it. You know,
It's
I don't have the stats.
like-
My webpage, which is hosting the PDF, I can't tell how many people have read it because it's like, I don't know, maybe I need to upgrade the account or something. Like, I keep looking, I'm like, how many people have actually read the chapter, right? But like it's great because you just get a feel for the whole of the book and what the experience is.
Yeah.
And I think if you check it out, hopefully you'll love it. And I think the book's great. So
Awesome.
I think also like we are doing we, as some of you might know, we've kind of relaunched War with Art again. We started recording, and tomorrow there should be another
should be another one. Yep.
Nice.
Fun episode.
Looking forward to that.
Still an episode. Yep.
Yeah.
So there's lots. Yeah.
There we go.
Boom. There you go.
Perfect.
Rob's at the ready.
Thank God. Wow,
I told Rob our website, and it's so boring looking. So I'm like,
No, the SoundCloud's a little bit. Luckily, I update the SoundCloud too. Yeah.
So I thought this one would look the best one to show.
I like it. Smart move, Eric.
Yeah. Handing out a bunch of stickers out on Saturday, so people were excited about it. Had a lot of people come by saying they watched this show. Had a lot of people come by and say they listened to War with Art. So it was really cool to like banter with them and get them back in it. So. Yeah.
I saw Sarah was saying, or Mama Deadhead was saying that she loves it when the authors sign their stuff and they get to see it. So yeah, that's one of the cool things that I get to do with the Kickstarter is I'm going to sign. That's going to be the best part about the Kickstarter version is they're all signed.
Yeah,
so,
and numbered.
Signed and numbered. Yep.
Yeah. So
that'll be great.
I love it.
Anyways,
All right, Jen.
Today's been the most amazing day creatively for me. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
Everybody
on the show.
that swung by.
Thanks
on
for
the
people
show.
who are watching. We love you guys. Thank you. Yeah.
And Rob,
Awesome.
cheers, buddy.
Rob as well.
Cheers.
Love you guys. Take
Good
care,
night, guys. Make your shit.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Kyle S as well.